Fitness, mental, creative, financial, spiritual, and relational. Those are the categories of the goals I'm going to set this year. Hey, my name is Eric with a K. I'm the host of the Practical Youth Ministry Tips podcast, and I'm excited you're joining me. Now, I am terrible at setting goals and accomplishing them.
It's true.
Because I get distracted easily. And if that's you, I want to help you, and I would love for you to help me on this journey of doing and accomplishing some really good, solid goals for 2024.
What year is it?
And I told you I had those different categories. I want to walk through each of the goals that I have for you, including two that are side hustles that I believe you can jump onto and earn some money with as well. I'll hit my favorite one, the juiciest one for the end. So hang on to the end for that one. But let's jump right into it. Now, my friend Jon Acuff wrote this book called All It Takes Is a Goal. And it's the 3-step plan to ditch regret and tap into your massive potential. And I've been following Jon for years, a long time, all the way back since when he was writing a little blog that turned into some jobs and a podcast and being very active on social media, to working for Dave Ramsey, to ending up writing a bunch of books. And I got to meet Jon years ago. I think it's been 11 years now that I've known Jon. But anyhow, he wrote this book called All It Takes Is a Goal. And I'm telling you, it's been so encouraging. There's been his book prior to that, Soundtracks, is probably the book that I've shared the most with people. This is now coming up on the list of books I want to share with people. And I want to read to you, he talks about guaranteed goals, like the guaranteeing your success. He says, words without work are useless. And there's the painfully obvious magic of guaranteed goals. He says, easy goals get us out of our comfort zone. They're simple things like cleaning up my room, right? I can do that. Middle goals help us avoid chaos zone, and guaranteed goals keep us in the potential zone. Now, I want to read to you a couple things that he talks about these guaranteed goals. He said guaranteed goals has extended time frames, usually 90 days to a year. He says quick wins are awesome. They help us leave the comfort zone, but potential is about sustained performance over time. We're not trying to visit the potential zone. We're living there. So a goal with a long time frame actually works in our favor. Let me read to you a couple other things. He says guaranteed goals are 100% in your control. If you put in real effort, the results are math, not a miracle. I love that. Do you know who has 100% responsibility for how I treat my wife and kids? Me. It doesn't matter if I've had a bad day, get stressed at work, or I am tired from too much travel. I have a choice. Be kind or not be kind. Then he says guaranteed goals are easy to measure. This is key, and I'm going to come back to this at the very end of the podcast. A freebie I want to give to you as a result of watching this video. But he has these different categories, but he says they're easy to measure. He says if you can't easily track your guaranteed goal, you'll get bored with it, and you'll either start some other goal, which is chaos zone behavior, or you'll give up, which lands you right back in the comfort zone. That's a space you don't want to be. It's the space I think I've been in for a little while. Guarantees goals force you to be more deliberate, like you really start focusing on what you're doing with your everyday. And then I love this one. Guaranteed goals sound impossible when you tell people about it, because it sounds too much. Like there's no way you're going to, like when I'm going to tell you these goals, they might sound like they are impossible goals. But telling other people also, there's some accountability that comes into play. And that for me is significant. Accountability and deadlines. So I'm giving myself some accountability by sharing with you, and I've been sharing with other people. And I'm also giving myself some deadlines. So now let's jump into the goals that I'm going to tackle this year. And if you want to join with me in any one of these goals or all of them, that would be awesome.
Awesome.
All right. So the first goal, I want to run 400 miles this year. Now I had it at 500 because 500 sounds cooler for some reason, but I changed it to 400. I'm trying to make it like, put it out there. I don't want to run 50 miles this year because I do that in daily walking around, right? But if I can run 400 miles this year or bike riding with the equivalency, I think it's like 3-to-1 or something like that. You can include elliptical, whatever gets you miles. But that's my goal for this year. And when I mentioned that the other day, my wife's like, I want to do that with you.
Wait, what?
So like that already is helping me because she's going to join in with me on this goal, which is huge. We get to do it together, which is going to be really fun. I used to joke that I was morally opposed to running. And then about 15, 16 years ago, my wife jokingly said, hey, you should go speak Steve's love language and go running with him. We were living in Oregon. My friend Steve worked like crazy hours. He started work at like 4 or 4:30 in the morning, something like that. And he went to bed really early because he had to get up so early. But he loved to run. And she's like, you should speak his love language by going running with him.
Run, Forrest, run! Run, Forrest!
And she said it with him right there in the room. And I was like, are you crazy? Don't say these words. But I couldn't stop thinking about it that night in bed. And I got restless. And so the next morning I texted him like, hey, I'm in. Let's go running. He's like, are you serious? And so he gave me that afternoon, we went running when he got off work. And he gave me a little present. It was a pair of like shorty shorts that are runner shorts that I just laughed at, which I wore my first race, which has potential to be a really bad idea. Anyhow, that's a whole nother story. But I started running. We spent a month training for a half marathon and I hated it. But after that, we ran in what's called the Hood to Coast Relay, which is a 199-mile relay race. There's 2 vans of 6 runners in each van, and it's like 30 hours or something like that. And you run 3 legs in those 30 hours. It's just this crazy. But for me, it was about the people and the experience. I loved it. And it was during that time while I was training for the Hood to Coast that I was like, I'm a runner.
A runner.
And I really enjoyed it. And then I moved to the desert in Southern California. And my first day living here, July 28th, I was like, I'm going to go for a couple of mile run. I'd been running in Oregon. It was 109 degrees at 9 a.m. And I was like, tomorrow I'm getting up. I'm going to run at 7. It was 109 degrees at 7 a.m. I suddenly lost all motivation for running and I didn't have a race in front of me. I didn't have a deadline and a goal. I quit running. In the 9.5 years that I've lived here, I've run twice, I think. Maybe. Oh, no, I ran last fall for a Bible study I did with some guys until I hurt my knee. So I still have to kind of see how my knee is doing. I may need to do most of my miles on a bike.
You're old.
But that's, for me, my number 1 goal. Okay, my number 2 goal. And I was watching a video with Graham Cochrane. If you don't follow Graham Cochrane, he's great on leadership and business. I really enjoy him. He talked about a 52 book reading goal. It's not the goal I'm taking, but he said that means 30 minutes a day. You can read 52 books in a book. And the average book, I think he said 50 to 70,000 words per book. But I'm going to take 24. I'm halving that roughly. But I'm going to take 24. That's 2 books, or a book every 2 weeks. So 2 books a month. Now I have a variety of books I'm going to read. Most of these books I think I'm going to read this year are probably on my bookshelf already. So this book I'm going to read, Sustainable Children's Ministry, From Last Minute Scrambling to Long-Term Solutions. I've read the youth ministry version. I'm going to read the children's ministry version. And the thing is, last year, I guess the average American reads 5 books a year. I read 1 all the way through last year. And I'll tell you about that one in just a little bit. But I'm below the average.
Well, I'm not the average jumper. Correct. You're well below average.
I love to read, but it's about actually doing it. So I'm going to read some ministry books. This is another one. Meet Generation Z, Understanding and Reaching the New Post-Christian World. So I'll read something about Gen Z. Then I'll read something that's going to encourage my faith. Bob Goff has a book called Undistracted, Capture Your Purpose, Rediscover Your Joy. Then I'll read some books that are like helping me with ministry and honing some skills, like this book here, TED Talks, the official TED Guide to Public Speaking. I started this years ago. I never finished it. But just the beginning chapter was awesome. And I'm like, I've got to read this. It's going to help me on my communication. Another one that's kind of in the communication world, my friend Jeremy Murphy introduced me to this one. Pitch Anything, an innovative method for presenting, persuading, and winning the deal. And he's talking about it in a business setting, but he also says it translates really well for pastors and communicators to pitch anything. So if you have an idea, so I'm going to read that book this year. Just some other kind of leadership type of books and helping me grow. This one's called Switch by Chip and Dan Heath, who I love. They wrote a book called Made to Stick, which is fantastic on communication, by the way. Anyhow, how to change things when change is hard. So I'm excited to read this book. Then I'm going to find a book like this one, Coach Wooden, One-on-One, Inspiring Conversations on Purpose, Passion, and the Pursuit of Success. So John Wooden, a biography on him. And then I'm just going to pick up probably 1 or 2 novels this year. I'd gotten this when I started it and never got anywhere with it, but John Grisham's Boys from Biloxi. No idea really what it's about, but that's my reading book. Oh no, you know what? I read 2 books this year because in 2023, I did read this book all the way through. All It Takes Is a Goal. So I'll tell you about the other one in a minute. My third goal is to create at least one digital product every month. And what I mean by that is I create digital products, so like PowerPoint games. And I put them in a couple different places. One is on Download Youth Ministry. And I love what Download Youth Ministry has available for those in the trenches, for us to be better. They've got all sorts of stuff, curriculum, and like there's a whole bunch. I'll put a link in there for all the things that they do. But they also have a lot of games, and I love creating them. You've seen me talk about them. Sometimes they don't for whatever reason, don't make it onto the store. And so a little over a year ago, I created PowerPointGames.com. And so I've put some of my games, a lot of my games on there as well. So I want to create at least one every single month. In March, if you're a Download Youth Ministry subscriber, you'll see one of my games in the freebie section that comes to anybody who's a member. So you'll be seeing that in March. But I'm planning to do at least one digital game every single month. All right, number 4. Now, this is one that for me has been a little bit more attainable. In the last 15 years, I think I've done this 10 times, something like that. And that's read through the Bible in a year. Now, I have a couple of Bibles that are actual physical Bibles of reading through the Bible in a year. And I've done different ways. Including chronological, where you're reading as like in order of when they actually happened in history. But one of my favorites is going through, and I'm doing this on YouVersion. I'll put the link on the YouVersion there for you as well. But it's an Old Testament section, a New Testament section, a Psalm, and a Proverb every single day. I just finished it on December 31st. I just jumped back into it on January 1st. A group of guys that I've been doing a Bible study with have jumped in with me this year, which I'm really excited to do this with them. But reading through the Bible in a year is totally attainable. I have some people who've challenged to do it in 90 days or 30 days or in a weekend, which is insane to me. But reading through the Bible in a year, that is one of my goals this year. All right, number 5 is write another book. Okay, maybe you've heard me talk about it, maybe you haven't. But I co-authored a book years ago called The Inside Out Youth Worker, and loved that book. It was super fun to be part of that book. Then I did my first solo book about 10 years ago called Why is for Youth Worker. Real practical tips, kind of what this video, this podcast is all based on, the practical youth ministry tips. On something on every letter in the alphabet, and I love that. I'm going to revamp that one and put it back out. But I have another book I'm working on. I don't want to talk about exactly what it is yet, but I'm putting it out there because that's going to motivate me. Because here's how I am with this kind of thing: it sits in an idea file, and then I don't do anything about it. But when I tell you and I put a goal on it, then I can look back and go, okay, I'm going to work on this. I need to set that goal. I also have contributed. I've contributed to like the notes on the Make a Difference Bible that's coming out this year. I'm super excited about that. I'm going to put a link in there. You can pre-purchase. I believe you can pre-purchase it on Amazon right now. But the Make a Difference Bible, I've gotten to write a bunch of notes in this Bible. I'm really thrilled to have been asked to be part of that project. So you'll be seeing me talk more about that as we get closer to March and the launch on that. So I'm excited to write a full book. Now, this is the book I wrote called Wise for Youth Worker. Essential Youth Ministry Skills from A to Z. And it's simple. It's easy to read. I'll have a link for that. And then I actually did put out 2 more books this year, but they're kind of like super simple. One is called Youth Ministry Sermons Ideas. If you've been here, you've heard me talk about this before. The #1 sermon idea book on your shelf, because you probably don't have this kind of book. But stop forgetting all your great messages. But basically, this is what the inside is. It's having a place to write down your ideas and flesh them out. And then there's also another book I did, and right now it's just a digital book, but it's a summer like activity book for when you go on a bus ride with your students. But that'll come out in a physical form as well this year. But that is not the book I'm going to write this year. I'm going to put that link in the description as well. Now, this 6th one is one I stole from Jon Acuff because I love the idea. It's simple, but I'm going to be tracking it all year long. And it's being kind every single day to my wife and to my children. That sounds like, well, of course, but it's the intentionality behind that, right? I'm being intentional and being kind to my wife and my children every single day this year. And I'm excited about like really tracking that. And did I say something kind? Was I kind to my wife? Was I kind to my children today? That's something I get to track. And if I think about it, I'm like, haven't had a lot of interaction. I need to make sure that I do that every single day. And the final one that I'm super excited about, like this is the juicy one. This is a side hustle one. This is creating a youth ministry course online that you can go through. My goal is to have that done this year. Now, I was going to start, I kind of started the idea about 1.5 years ago, maybe a little bit more, almost 2 years ago. But I'm at this place where this is my year. And here's what's awesome. I'm creating it all on a platform called KAJABI. Now, KAJABI for me is, it does email tracking, and I can send out emails and I can capture emails. It does all sorts of analytics. There's places for coaching on there. Instead of Zoom, I can create websites. I can create landing pages. I can create all sorts of things all inside of one platform. And they have AI tools and like an academy where you can learn all sorts of stuff. And if you sign up with my link, it is an affiliate link, so I'll get a little thing from it. Doesn't change you, actually helps you. Usually they give a 14-day trial. And if you're watching this between January 2nd and January 25th, you can get KAJABI for yourself for $99 for 3 months. Just to try it out. And I'm telling you, this is the best. They've only done this once since I've been part of this. It is such a phenomenal deal for you to dip your toe in and see, is this something you want to do? The other thing I didn't say, like you can create webinars and mini courses and full-blown courses. So if that's something you're interested in, click the link in the description below. And I'm telling you, I'm so excited about creating this course. I'm going to do a mini course first, and then I'm going to create the full course, all based on the Practical Youth Ministry Tips podcast, this video that you're watching right now. And I believe it's going to encourage you. It's going to empower you. It's going to equip you to be better at what you do and to take things that you might not have thought about, to take strategy and take actual ideas and put them into a place where you go, oh, I had thought of this over here, but I hadn't really put it together and actually made something and done something with that idea. That's what I want to do with this course. And I'm super excited to reveal it's going to be several months coming away because that's part of my 2024 goal. And I told you I had a free resource at the beginning of the video. This is my free resource. I've created a little template for you where you can track your goals. And I'd love to give that for you. The link is in the description below with all of the other links I talked about today so that you can start tracking your goals. You write down your goals, you put in your goals, and then you start tracking them. I am not going to do very well with my goals if I actually don't tape them to my wall. That's right behind this camera. That's right in front of me. So I can look at that and I can check mark it. I have a digital thing I'm going to do as well, but I need that physical that I'm constantly seeing it every day to remind me to stay focused, to stay on track, and to go after this goal. with the deadline that I have by December 31st, all of these. I'm so excited. Would you let me know if you are going to do any of these goals? I would love for you to join me on this goal setting journey.
Don't stop believing!
In 2024. It's going to be a great year. I'm super excited to give you tons more content, games, stuff with parents, stuff with students, things with volunteers, how to grow your volunteer team, how to have a better relationship with your lead pastor, all of those kind of things. I'm just super excited this year to continue to give you weekly content to help you in your ministry journey. So if you haven't already, would you click subscribe and click the notification bell? Comment down below if you're going to join with me. And if this video has been helpful, would you click the share button and give it to somebody else? Just send a link to somebody else that you think could be really encouraged in their journey with this video. And if somebody sent you this link, would you just text them real quick and say, thank you for sending this to me?
Yes, and thank you for sending that.
I'm encouraged. Let them know what you're going after. All right. That is all I have for today. Thanks for joining me. You are so awesome. And I'm excited. I'm so thankful you were with me in 2023 and excited to dive into 2024 with you. Like I said, lots of great content coming up in the future, interviews with other people in ministry, so much more. We'll catch you on the next episode. See ya.